On the grounds of Audubon High School, it's the John F. Kling Gymnasium for this site of a classic Colonial Conference rivalry. It's the Audubon Green Wave versus the Haddon Township Hawks, and funny enough, our first basketball game back at my alma mater in this gym. I'm Dan Wilkins. I'm joined by Thomas Gaffney Jr. on the call. And, well, Thomas, this is a game that was very close when these two teams played last year. Haddon Township and Audubon split the two-way that they played. And, well, Haddon Township, they are just the comeback story of the year from 2024 to 25. They won 5 games 2 years ago. They won 21 last season. Now this is their first divisional game of the year.
Yeah, I want to see how they bounce back from last year and now going into this year, where they had an amazing season. And now these players just getting older and older, and now you have some players in their senior seasons that you have to try to capitalize on, and this is the year to do it. You had an amazing season last year. You got to replicate or try to replicate what you did last year. I want to see how they do it this year.
Well, both of these teams just a few years ago were kind of bottom-of-the-barrel dwellers in the Colonial Conference. You know, you still had the greats like Haddonfield, Haddon Heights, Sterling and those guys, but Audubon and Haddon Township have really flipped the script. Audubon had a great run last year in the playoffs, had a buzzer beater over Paulsboro, which was always a Group 1 perennial contender. Meanwhile, Haddon Township, they again went from 5 wins to a runner-up in South Jersey Group 1, beating another comeback story in Woodbury under Mark DeRugeris. But my player to watch for Haddon Township is going to be Axel Moore. He's going to shoot a lot of threes. This Haddon Township team got 130 three-point baskets last year, and they're going to continue to light it up from beyond the arc. They've got Axel Moore and Peter Black in the front court. Their back court kind of got shifted around with Jaden Halterwanger graduating. But other than that, this Haddon Township core remains mostly unchanged.
Yeah, Axel Moore going into the last game, he didn't shoot the ball very, very well. And now you have to go in this game and try to bounce back. And honestly, he was one of the best players. Over 400 points scored last year, and he was their main guy. I want to see how he bounces back from last game and see if he can try to do it and try to see what he could do from last season going into this season. And now you have a way to do it. Try to bounce back from the game that you in your first game of the year and try to bounce back and be better.
Yeah, well, Haddon Township's 0-1 on the year. They started off with a 44-41, one-possession loss to another Colonial powerhouse in Haddon Heights. And then they've got a couple of tough games ahead with Mainland in the Cape Atlantic and Gloucester. But I'll tell you, for Audubon, they're 1-1 this year. Had an easy win over Camden Charter, but then fell in overtime to Sterling on Tuesday. So they're bouncing back from that road trip to Summerdale, and now they're coming into this with a lot of different high hopes. But I'll tell you, my players to watch, easily the Azon brothers. Azon Young, a senior, Eric Young, a sophomore. Azon Young could very well hit 1,000 points this year if he's not on that trajectory already, and his younger brother, Eric, seems like he's following in those footsteps. Azon Young, he averages a double-double per game. He did that as a junior. He was one of the most prolific players in the conference, and he's already got 29 points and 22 rebounds in 2 games this year. Whenever he gets a basket, you better believe a rebound's coming with it.
And it's cool to see his brothers right beside him. He goes out there, he sees his brother doing so well. He's going to be like, you know what? I'm going to try to do as good as him, and he's been doing it as well. It's a great duo out there on the court, and I want to see how they do this season. But the Young brothers, man, they have been absolutely amazing since they've been here, and now Azon in the senior season, maybe he could try to push the pace. He's on pace, like you said, to 1,000 points. He definitely wants to try to hit that this year.
Well, yeah, Azon Young, he's going to be a player to watch as both teams will go to their benches. It should be a decently packed house tonight here at the John Kling Gymnasium. As I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Thomas Gaffney of Montclair State, Javier Harris on the production this evening. We'll be back in just a moment with starting lineups, the national anthem, and tip-off here in Audubon. We'll be right back. Well, Thomas, this should be a good one tonight. Haddon Township and Audubon. These two teams last year played 3 times. They played in the Audubon Holiday Tournament, and then they played them, one in a regular season matchup and one at Haddon Township in mid-January. And as we said, they split that, they split the regular 2 games, and they won in that, or I should say they lost in that Haddon Township versus Audubon Holiday Championship. Now, Haddon Township is not in the, they're not in the holiday. We have an issue here. Azon Young just went to the trainer's room. He's speaking with the referees now. He was introduced in the starting lineup, and something didn't look right. He went to O'Donnell and pointed to the room. He is now coming out of that room, out of the athletic trainer's office here. He will get back on the court, so he will start in this game. But you saw the starting lineups introduced by Adam Kramer, the public address announcer. Brian O'Donnell versus Patty McNamara, 2 veteran head coaches for Audubon and Haddon Township. O'Donnell in his 8th season, McNamara in his 6th. 2 experienced starting lineups with 2 teams looking to prove where they left off last year. The Hawks in the green wave tip up, and we're underway with Mike Bittner, first possession for Audubon. Azon Young bringing this one up the floor for the green wave, just on top of the Audubon logo. As we mentioned, it's the Young brothers, Azon and Eric, Grayson Heller, Mike Bittner, and Connor Chester, the multi-sport athlete, on the floor for the green wave. And there was I made a mistake in my Haddon Township starting lineup graphic, as that shot doesn't go by Young from 3 points. Chase Perrone was not starting. I misread the sheet. Eamon Sheehan starting in his place, and Peter Black with a 3 from the left wing to open up the scoring. It's 3-0.
You don't see many left-handed shooters anymore, and Peter Black goes there left wing and just drains one that sets the tone of the game to start off early on.
Well, Peter Black is, you don't take a rocket scientist to tell you he's not that tall of a kid, but he is somebody that is going to be dangerous with that 3-point shot, because you saw there Audubon underestimated him, but they should know. He's been a 4-year varsity starter for Haddon Township. We've seen this kid for a long time, and he shot a lot of threes. Haddon Township as a team shot 130 3-point shots last year, and Peter Black's going to just be one of those players that is going to light it up. That was his 35th career 3-point shot, 17 as a sophomore and 12 as a junior. Young up, no good. Bittner, check that. Chester pulls down the rebound, but not for long. It's taken in by Nate Keating for Haddon Township. As the Hawks bring this one up the floor, they go to the top of the key. Black on the right wing. He shoots it again, and he's got it! In the face of the Audubon crowd, 6 points, and Haddon Township off to a red-hot start.
He only had 5 points last game, and he goes out there, already has 6, 2 buckets made, didn't have a 3-pointer at all. He saw that game, he comes out red hot early on in this one. He has been awesome.
That shot goes by Connor Chester for 2, and the Hawks lead this one by 4. Black bringing this one up the court, guarded by the sophomore Young. The senior and 3-sport athlete, Eamon Sheehan, an infielder for Haddon Township baseball, and the lead scorer for Haddon Township boys soccer that won a state championship 2 years ago. That shot missed. Hawks able to pull in the rebound. Eric Young going right around the neck for the jump ball, and they call it. But Peter Black with all 6 of Haddon Township's points so far here in the early going. 5:38 to play in the first. Sheehan will inbound. Again, Moore, Black, Keating, Crawford, and Sheehan. But the 2 players that Haddon Township missed the most last year, Jaden Halterwanger, which basically was a 6th man for the Hawks, and Caven McGovern. 2 forwards were the big replacements as Eric Young moved in to the paint. Now all the way out back beyond the 3-point line. Young gets fouled on his way up. It'll be the first foul of the game, and Young will go to the line to shoot 2. Unless they don't call it a shooting foul. Let's see here. A little bit of confusion. And yes, we will have foul shots here with Young.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised if they called that one on the floor. I don't know if he was in his shooting motion yet, but
it was close enough.
It was close. It was very close.
I think that's the right call. Young makes the basket. Both of these teams, I would say, relatively small lineups. I mean, Connor Chester and Mike Bittner are large guys, but I mean, Audubon, as recently as last year, ran with basically a 4-guard lineup. They had Liam Nixon, who's now at RCSJ Gloucester, although briefly, and 2 years ago they had Ryan Johnson and Luke Hoke, which Luke Hoke is now at Rowan University with the football team, and you know, Ryan Johnston was the most recent 1,000-point scorer that Audubon had back in 2024, finished with just under 1,200 points. Sheehan moves in on the left wing. 5 minutes to play in the first. Moving back out to the top of the key. Young guarding aggressively, feeds it back out. Crawford moves in, and he gets fouled. Audubon says it's all ball. I'm sure O'Donnell thinks it's all ball. Did you see anything there, Gaffney?
I think Young jumped up there. I think he got all ball with that one. I think he was right in kind of trying to say that he did get all the ball, but sometimes you miss some. You got to just kind of try to go back on the other end and try to see and try to kind of bounce back after that foul. But again, I think he got all ball there. But again, sometimes it happens. It just happens.
At the line for Haddon Township is number 24, Nate Keating. 7-3. Oh boy. They brought the little ones out in the crowd tonight. 8-3. Keating with the 2 free throws, made them both. Heller on the right side, guarded by Black. He got the ball out. Young was able to retain it. Now it's back to Bittner and back to Young, the senior. Young using that mobility as a combo guard. That ball pops out. Haddon Township continuing to pressure, not just on the court, but in the stands and on the bench, and we're going to have a violation here. It's going to be on Bittner. I missed that one. I don't know if they called a 5-second violation or.
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest.
But it's a turnover. Second foul against Audubon, and Haddon Township leads by 5. Keating just outside of the top of the key to his left. In the game for Haddon Township is number 11, Chase Perrone, that 6th man. Moving in, Crawford, guarded by Chester, moves around in the paint. Ball rolls over the basket. Sheehan with a high-flying rebound. Back out to Black. Black back steps. Young moves in. Ball came out. Now it's back to Sheehan. He's back behind the court. They say it's tipped. No backcourt violation. Black, catch and shoot. Too short. And here comes Young. Eric Young moving in, trying to draw the charge. No basket. Well, he didn't make the basket anyway, and the foul is on the floor. Haddon Township really wanted to draw that offensive foul that time. Didn't get it. Young kind of staggered in his motion, and that was why they weren't able to get anything there as Mike Bittner banks in his first basket of the night.
Yeah, Audubon's been attacking the paint a lot to start this game, especially on quick counterattacks. Trying to get that foul on the other end, they do, and luckily the inbounds pass was able to find someone in the paint and get one.
Haddon Township back-to-back missed threes from Keating and now Crawford. Up and a foul. Check that. Those last two threes were by Black and then by Keating. So Azon Young will go back to the line for 2, but already a decently high fouling first quarter. I mean, 5 fouls in the first 5 minutes. You usually don't get that many fouls in the first quarter. They usually ramp up as the game goes on. But Azon Young, who is somebody that, again, is that combo guard. He's going to be somebody that will shoot from outside, but will also take his lane to the basket as often as possible when he has the ball. He is somebody that is going to draw a lot of fouls with his athleticism. 8-5 and make that 8-6. Young 2 for 4 from the charity stripe in 2 chances. 3:15 left in the first. Sheehan on the right wing. Heller guarding with distance. No substitutions yet for Audubon here in the first quarter. They've been sticking true with their starting 5. Black on the right wing. And a foul. Peter Black gets up, and he'll get an and 1. The foul is on Eric Young, and Black will have a chance for a 3-point play. He's up to 8 points.
Peter Black is on fire right now, and he is fired up after that and 1, potentially make this a 3-point play. He hits 2 back-to-back threes, and then couldn't get that extra point. But again, he's just fired up. He's on fire. I would try to ride that hot hand in this first quarter to try to ride it out.
10-6. He was unable to complete the three-point play, but he still has 8 points. Keating with 2. That's all for Haddon Township. As well, I'll tell you, I mean, again, Peter Black only averaged 5 points per game last year, just over 5, but he also played in 30 games. And NJ.com counts playoff statistics in addition to regular season. So, yes, he probably averaged a little bit more if you take out those playoff statistics, but he was not Haddon Township's leading scorer last year. They had to, kind of rework this backcourt a little bit. Didn't really have to do a whole lot with the front court because you do still have Crawford, Sheehan, and Black. And we're seeing Peter Black's versatility working overtime as that basket is good on the lay. Number 24, Nate Keating, the senior, 4 points, and Haddon Township leads by 6. 12-6. They have a double lead over Audubon. Young on the left side. Ball's been bobbled out of his hands a couple times as he now moves to Bittner back to the basket, trying to bully his way in. 3-on-1. Can't overpower. And Black with the rare rebound. On the right side, back to the top of the key. Underhand feed to Black. He gets tripped up, and now it's a turnover. Heller behind the back. Good finessing there, but not for long. Here comes Peter Black. Black, Heller, foul. Black on the ground. There's no basket, but he is able to get 2 more shots at the line to make up for his missed three-point play.
And that's exactly what you want to do if you're Black. You get the steal, and you're one-on-one with another player. You try to absorb as much contact as possible going up to that rim. And Zach, what he did, he draws the foul. That's just a very good play, a very veteranized play by Black there.
Minute 40 left in the first quarter, as into the game for Haddon Township is R.J. Miller, number 13. He sends Crawford to the bench. Black missed his first. He'll miss both. Great crowd on hand here in Audubon Thursday night. Second home game of the year for the Green Wave. They beat Camden Charter 53-15. Camden Charter did not have more than 8 points in a quarter. They've actually shut out in the third of that game, but then they lost in overtime 49-41 to Sterling. It's the second time in 2 years they sent Sterling to overtime, which is usually a Colonial powerhouse, as that's a 3. Chase Perrone, and Brian O'Donnell calls the timeout. It's a 30-second. We'll take a quick break. 1:11 in the first, and Haddon Township's catching fire, 15-6. We'll be right back. Welcome back to John F. Kling Gymnasium, home of the Audubon Green Wave. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Thomas Gaffney of Montclair State University. Javier Harris on the production this afternoon/evening. We ran a little bit behind with the JV game as that ball gets stripped away. Young turned over by Sheehan. Young slapped his hand off the glass. That basket didn't go. Under a minute to play. Young clears it. He's got number 3, Noah Salerno, in the game, another multi-sport athlete. I mean, that's pretty much expected with these Group 1s. Not enough kids. Young moving in, 2-on-1. Referee stops it. It's a jump ball. So right now on the floor for Audubon, it is Bittner, Azon Young, Noah Salerno, Connor Chester, and Grayson Heller. And then on the floor for Haddon Township, it's Peter Black, Nate Keating, R.J. Miller, Eamon Sheehan, and Sean Crawford. Actually, check that, Chase Perrone. Here comes a 3, Grayson Heller off the mark on the right wing. Close call there as Keating prevents it from going out of bounds on the baseline. 25 seconds left. Peter Black leads the scoring on both teams. He has 8. He has had a feisty first quarter so far. As you mentioned, Thomas, did not have that many points in the first game, a 44-41 loss to Haddon Heights. Now Haddon Township hanging on to it. 10 seconds. Sheehan fades over the Audubon green wave circle. Now moves in. 5 seconds. Back out to the top of the key. Sheehan creates a little bit of space. Catch and shoot to end the quarter. No good. And we'll run out of time in the first frame of this one. Haddon Township, the South Jersey Group 1 runner-ups from last year, feeling pretty good as Peter Black, the senior guard, puts up 8 points and 2 triples. We'll be right back. It's Haddon Township 15, Audubon 6. Welcome back from Audubon High School. Haddon Township leads by 9 at first quarter break. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on the first attempt. Book an appointment at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, 614 Lambs Road. Haddon Township 15-6 over Audubon. Audubon has 6 points from 3 scorers. Azon Young, Connor Chester, and Mike Bittner have 2 points apiece. Peter Black gets an open look. Does not take the 3. Gets an underhand feed. A beautiful pass and a 3. Axel Moore puts the wheels on that one, and it's 18-6.
Black to Moore. Black could have taken that shot from the three-point arc.
Oh, he absolutely could have.
He could have decided to cut inside.
Azon Young, he's had a little bit of trouble with losing the ball. You can see he's frustrated there. He's lost the ball at least 2 or 3 times here in this first half, and that's going to be something they're going to have to watch out for, whether or not he will be able to rebound from that. Peter Black, guarded by Eric Young, loses it there. Oh, foot almost went over the backcourt line. I think that's the right call to keep it going, but a couple more inches and he would have been out. Moore stomps on the paint. Young strips it out. Here comes Eric Young. And Patty McNamara gets a timeout off in time before anything can get worse, as Eric Young and Azon Young both get in there. It's Haddon Township's first timeout. We'll take another break. 7 minutes left to play in the second. It's Haddon Township 18 over Audubon 6. Welcome back to Colonial Conference Basketball here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. This broadcast is brought to you by the South Jersey chapter of the National Adult Baseball Association. Registration is open for the spring of 2026. Visit southjerseynaba.com for more information on the most competitive men's baseball league in all of South Jersey. Haddon Township up by 12 points in the first minute of the second quarter as a wide open corner 3 is off the mark. Offensive rebound by Keating. Now back out to the left wing. Sheehan, right side. Double guarded by the Young brothers. Sheehan back to Black, around the world on the wing. Back out to the top of the key, moving inside to the semicircle. Sheehan finds Black again. A lot of bounce passing here, no look. Going up, all ball, rebounded by Chester, who picks up the block. Connor Chester, 6'5". Second year starting with Audubon as Heller loses it. Audubon's been having a lot of trouble with that ball control, and it's been a pretty sloppy game for the Green Wave, where they have been getting into a lot of turnover trouble, not just with Azon Young, but with everybody on the floor. We've got an open three, no good. Salerno punches it out. Now it's back to Chester, who clears it, and it's back to Heller. They're going to get Bittner ready to sub in at the command of O'Donnell. Bounce pass going backwards here to Young. With just 2 minutes gone in the second, Young fades away too high, and it will get stuck on the wiring as a good shot in principle, just not a good shot in practice.
I know Audubon's down by 12, but I feel like they just got to slow it down a little bit. I think they're just pushing the pace way too quickly off of makes or misses by Haddon Township, and I think they're just kind of taking the first shots they see. I feel you got to just slow it down a little bit and try to make a play and try to get a more open shot to make your chances worth it.
Well, we saw that on opening night in a BCSL matchup, Bordentown and Cinnamon-Minson. Cinnamon-Minson scored 3 points in the first half. It was an utterly spectacular domination by Bordentown. But then Cinnamon-Minson, they got their wits about them in the halftime break, as there comes another three from Axel Moore. He's up to 6 points, but they got their wits about them. They took a break, and then they scored 30 points in the third quarter. Audubon, I agree with you wholeheartedly. They have to slow it down. They got to look for more shots inside. Just because Haddon Township's hitting those shots from outside doesn't mean Audubon has to mirror what they're doing. As a shot like that, Eric Young gets the foul and one just in front of the baseline from 7 feet out. And Eric Young will go to the line to get his first points. Well, he will get his first points, but he'll try to complete a three-point play.
Exactly what they did right there. They slowed it down a little bit. They set up a play. You got some off-ball screens to try to get somebody open, find an open lane inside the paint, and then you get the and one and make it almost potentially a three-point play. But that's exactly what the Green Wave needs to do. Slow it down a little bit and try to make those shots worth it, and that's what Young did right there.
Well, you can hear and feel the shaking. We are on Haddon Township's side of the bench bleachers, as that three-point play is complete to Young, Eric Young. It's always difficult commentating a game when you got two players with the same last name on the same team. Young, a class of 2028 sophomore, Azon Young, there we go again, class of 26 senior, is going up. Keating, too short. Chester rebound, 21-9. Azon Young moving in here again. Audubon moving very quickly. I mean, I just feel like if they keep this offensive pace up, they're going to run out of gas even more so than they are now. Azon Young wanted a double dribble there, as now a clean pass to the basket, not clean under the basket, and we'll have a foul. They'll call it on the floor. Foul is going to be on Eric Young. It was kind of interesting. Axel Moore took everything himself that time, didn't pass it out to anybody until he got to that paint. He wanted to dish it out to somebody, but eventually he ran out of room, and Audubon was just flailing all over him. Young on his third foul. Eric Young already on his third foul. He goes to the bench. Salerno back on the floor. We've got a scramble. Welcome to Group 1 basketball as Azon Young gets that one out. Now into the far corner. Salerno back to Heller. Salerno creates some space. Heller's got some room. Azon Young back on his feet and back at the top of the key. He shoots from the semicircle. That one banks in and out off the front of the rim and off the back of the glass. Now moving in quickly. Wide open look. Chase Perrone, 5 points off the bench for Haddon Township. It's 23-9.
That's what Haddon Township's been doing. They've been capitalizing fast breaks and just catching Audubon off guard. And the last couple of times they've been able to do it and get some quick, easy points on the other side.
Chester to Bittner around the world. 4 players were outside of the three-point land that time. It's back to Chester. 3:45 to play. Salerno calls for it. Gets it back to Young. Young moves out to the right corner box. Now it's Young stepping back for three. Too many threes. Well, we say the old proverb goes, too many chefs can spoil a kitchen. Too many threes are spoiling this offense for Audubon here. I think they are way too content on matching what Haddon Township is doing, which is shooting a lot of threes. They shot 130 of them last year, we mentioned. Audubon last season, they shot 117. So they're not too far off, but the volume of those threes was Liam Nixon. He shot 61 of them last year. So that's more than half of your three-point shots from last season, coming from a guy who's not on the floor right now for Audubon. So I think that they should change the offensive scheme going into halftime. Focus more on taking advantage of your front court, taking advantage of their lack of size in the back court, or in the front court rather. Connor Chester and Mike Bittner are miles taller than anybody on this Haddon Township back court. I keep saying back court, front court. With Halterwanger graduating and McGovern, they have a big advantage. So they should take advantage of that. We just saw that there from Azon Young, 6'3", found his way to get himself into the lane, into the paint, just in front of the baseline, and get a nice shot in contest. He's now moving in, blocked by Chester. That's his second block, and a foul call. Ooh. I don't know about that one.
It's a little questionable. I think you saw the ball fly in the air off the shot and the block. Very surprised.
So I think the block was clean, but it was the second shot that got called for the foul. As at the line will be Keating. He's got 4 points. Audubon will contribute, not afraid to rip out a vocal cord. And it's 24-11 as Keating makes his first. Yeah, I mean, you saw the reaction from Brian O'Donnell. You saw the reaction from Eric Young. Definitely not a pleasant one. As that one rattles in, Keating 6 points. So 4 scores for Haddon Township. Black with 8, Moore and Keating with 6, Perone off the bench with 5. Oh, Heller's going to get called for a travel. Just kind of stopped on a dime there, but stopped a little bit too late. Was unable to get that one.
And I think Audubon, you're looking at it like you're down by 14, but you still have 2 quarters left. Still have 2 minutes left in this quarter. I think you just slow it down. I think you got to push the paint, like you said, Dan, but you got to try to just scheme something up. Don't just try to drive the paint because you want to. Try to find something inside. Try to find an open lane. That's what you got to do, but you have to slow it down first.
We'll have a push foul here. Audubon getting themselves in foul trouble. We saw Eric Young went to the bench with his 3rd foul a few minutes ago. R.J. Miller subs out for Haddon Township. They'll bring in Crawford again, as this one's Black. We'll take it. Black into the semicircle, steps out, back to Heller, guarded by Heller. Crawford to Keating. Keating, 4 of his 6 points are from free throws. Now it's Black. Bounce pass, underhand, and a nice basket by Keating. 8 points for the senior. And it is a 16-point lead for Haddon Township with 1:45 before the half. 27-11. Azon Young moving in. Haddon Township's coaching there. Their assistant coach commanding their players. Another travel. Haddon Township has just been giving Audubon the business right now. They have been giving them more pressure than they can handle. A lot of turnovers, a lot of trouble with the ball control, and now we're seeing troubles with traveling as well.
The thing with Haddon Township, they're capitalizing over these turnovers. They're forcing them and then going on the other end of the side and just making the baskets what they need to do, and they're doing their job very, very well.
Moving out to the top of the key. Here comes a deep 3. No good, too long. Eric Young tries to fight for the rebound. He does after bobbling it a handful of times. Now moves out to the left wing, catch and shoot. Whoa, that was weird. It's going to go out of bounds. It's going to be Haddon Township ball. I mean, with all due respect, he shouldn't take that shot there at all. That was a heave shot with 1:15 left. I don't know if he misread the time or if he just thought he was going to try to draw a foul and get a 4-point play, but at the end of the day, he got nothing. He got nothing. Can't get anything that time, and it will go out of bounds. One of the rare turnovers for Haddon Township in this first half, and now Grayson Heller will come in. Or Grayson Heller will inbound. I mean, Audubon's a team that doesn't make a whole lot of substitutions. They're going to have their stars on the floor, especially when they're down. They're going to have their stars on the floor for a good 75 to 80% of the night. You're not going to see them work in shifts or work in different specialties. They're just going to take what they can get, and your best guys are going to be the ones getting easily the most use without a lot of rest. We're back to 35 seconds. Salerno inside, a fiery pass. As Salerno picks up a nice lay. 30 seconds left, 27-13.
That was a great job by Young. He saw the double team. He decided to pass it under the basket. Just great cut there and a great awareness by Young to find that double team and find his player under the basket wide open.
Looking to his bench. Chester behind him. There's 12 seconds. He stands on top of the logo. This is how the first quarter ended. Haddon Township held the ball for the last possession and then took a late shot. They've got 4 seconds. Catch and shoot off the mark. Young with a rebound, and we will run out of time at the first half. Haddon Township with even scoring across the board. 8 points from Peter Black and Nate Keating, 6 points from Axel Moore, and 5 from Chase Perrone. They lead Audubon at the half, up by 14 points. It's the Hawks 27 and the Green Wave 13 at the halftime break. We'll be back at about 10 here from the John F. Kling Gymnasium. In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is the responsibility of all of us to make sure that our friends, family, and anybody who we hold dear in our lives is feeling well. The problem with spotting mental health issues is that the symptoms aren't that obvious. Just because someone is okay or appears okay on the outside doesn't mean that they're okay on the inside. It's important that if they are in distress, that they call the right people and they get the help that they need. And it is very important that we treat each other with respect, regardless of who you are or where you come from. But it is just as important that we treat ourselves with respect, regardless of the situation going on in our lives. If you're in distress, you can call this number, 988, or you can visit any of these websites if you're not in distress, but would like to learn more information about mental health awareness and research.
Book Dog Pro Wrestling for your next event or outing for the greatest action that New Jersey Pro Wrestling has to offer. Any place, any time, any setting, Dog Pro Wrestling will bring the action to you, and you won't want to miss it for moments like this. But don't just take it from me. Take it from Max Mundo, the Dog Pro Wrestling ambassador.
This is Max Mundo with Dog Pro Wrestling. Are you a civic organization, sporting club looking to fundraise? Then look no further to Dog Pro Wrestling. We do grand openings, corporate events, and much more.
And why not from some of the wrestling talent themselves?
I'm Vinny the Fixer, and I'm the champion of Dog Professional Wrestling. If you want to book the best, come see us. We're the cream of the crop. We'll come to any fundraiser you can think of. Just name the place and we'll show up.
This is the upstanding Dylan Mesh, and for the entirety of my professional wrestling career, dog wrestling has been a mainstay for where I like to wrestle. So you can believe me when I say that it is quality. And I'm upstanding. I'm the only opinion you need.
Yeah! It's your boy Gabriel Hodder here with my man Matthew Oman, and if you want your events to be all fight, no flight,
then book Dog Wrestling so you can witness true primal fear.
Woo!
One 1-0 Red Bank. Now here is Al D'Elia. The man they used to call Big Al has now slimmed down, and he still hits dingers. He went viral in 2018 for his catchphrase during the Little League World Series when he was introduced by the ESPN camera crews and was given his standard introduction. He said, "Hi, my name's Big Al, and I hit dingers." And that sentiment still holds true today. He had his first career high school home run versus Rumson Fairhaven in their opening game of the campaign last week. There's a swing and a miss, 0-2. But D'Elia, kind of a folk hero for baseball players who just want to hit the ball far and have fun while doing it. The poster child now is the poster big fella. Fly ball right center field. This is going to be a sac fly. Taken in by Terranova, and Big Al might not hit dingers, but he certainly drives in runs. It's 2-0. Excuse me, Goldberg is a shortstop tonight, but he had a 400 average in 2023 as a junior. A homer in each of his sophomore and junior campaigns, 331 career mark and a 430 career slugging percentage. And speaking of home runs, there's a fly ball to left, and it's gone! Devin Goldberg answers on opening day with a first pitch rocket to left, and it's 1-0 Bridgewater. We were just talking about the long ball, and he stomps on the plate, mobbed at home, and Goldberg, the leadoff man, with a swing of gold. It's 1-0. Launches one foul. See, Mostero's doing us a service here. Or excuse me, D'Alessandro. D'Alessandro is doing us a service here. He's letting us have this conversation by having a long at-bat. But a lot of people are still caught up in the D1 or bust mentality. Listen to this crowd. Listen to this crowd. We'll talk about that later. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Clapping it up here for the Roadrunners. 2-2. Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! 3-run homer! D'Alessandro! And it's a 1-run game at the crack of the bat. 5-4. 3-run shot to center field. Trailing towards the right center, and the cleanup man does exactly what the position orders. Cleaning up. And he does it incredibly well with a 5-4 game. He battles for 11 pitches and makes
Welcome back from Audubon High School, where Haddon Township, the South Jersey Group 1 runner-up from last year, they lead Audubon by 14, 27-13. Thomas, this has been a game where Haddon Township has taken advantage of Audubon's mistakes. A lot of turnovers, a lot of ball handling issues, and honestly, Audubon, their biggest flaw has been the shooting. They tower over Haddon Township's their back court, but they haven't found a way to get to the baseline, and they haven't found a way to get shots from inside. Instead, chucking up a lot of threes. Your thoughts on Audubon's performance in the first half?
I think they have to slow it down. I think there's no shot clock in high school. You don't have to sit there and wait 30 seconds before the clock buzzes. You can take as much time as possible. Why don't you take the time, try to set up some plays, off-ball screens, try to find an open lane in the paint. But I feel like they're just chucking up the threes like you said. They're just trying to bounce back. They're down by 14 right now. But I feel like you just have to go out there and just slow it down. Slow it down as much as possible. There's still 2 full quarters left, and 14 points is nothing. You can go back, play some good defense, get the ball back, and try to just regain and try to lessen this lead. But I feel like it's not out of reach just yet, and I think you just slow the pace down, try to set some plays up. I think that's what we got to do going into the second half.
I mean, hey, perfect example. The JV game that preceded this one, they were down. Audubon was down by like 8 points with a minute and a half left. 2 threes, bang, bang, tied the game. They can do that, but their three-point shooting just hasn't been the same tonight. You've got Connor Chester, you've got Mike Bittner. You've got to use them. If you've got tall kids on the team, you've got to use them. Azon Young is a great rebounder. Put 3 guys up there and have 2 guys, like Heller or somebody else at the top of the key or on the wings to shoot. So Audubon's not playing terribly, but they're certainly below expectations. They played Haddon Township 3 times last year, and they won 2 out of 3 times. They're responsible for 20% of Haddon Township's losses last year. And even though Haddon Township was South Jersey's best comeback story last year, they're certainly looking like they're staying the course in 2025. But I'll tell you this, Peter Black, fantastic player so far for Haddon Township. 8 points, 2 triples. He is using that three-point shooting to his advantage. He only scored 5 points in that opener versus Haddon Heights, but right now looking really good.
You could look at his shooting. He went out there like back-to-back doubles or triples. But now if you look at it, his defense has been amazing. His passing has been absolutely lights out. He hit more in the corner, I think twice, in 2 back-to-back possessions, and he drilled 2 threes. It's his off-ball movement. He's able to take the ball up the court, find an open man. He does everything on the court. He's been absolutely amazing this game.
We'll take a quick break. We'll flip this back around, and we've got the second half of action coming your way. Welcome back here from John F. Kling Gymnasium. Eric Young gets this started. This broadcast is brought to you by Rowan College of South Jersey at Gloucester County. New Jersey's premier community college with over 100 associate's degree programs. Visit rcsj.edu for information on classes. As Salerno can't make the three there. And then rcroadrunners.com for athletic information. Registration is open for the winter and spring classes. Spring classes start on January 20th. Eric Young makes the basket for Audubon's first on the opposite end of the floor, and it's 27-15. As again, Audubon seems like they immediately changed their philosophy. And I think that, again, what you do on offense, as how about this? Sheehan is going to get the foul and one. But I'll tell you, I mean, Audubon does not have to mirror what Haddon Township is doing. Just because they're doing it right doesn't mean that's the same formula for you. This is a different makeup of a team. These two teams did have a lot of players change hands last year. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys can adjust in the second half as Connor Chester picks up the rebound after the missed extra shot for the and one. Eric Young over the middle, screened by Salerno. Here comes Azon Young, moving in, fired it, and it found the bottom of the rim. Here's Sheehan, who picks this one up, bringing it down the floor quickly for Crawford, the only Haddon Township scorer without a point. Here comes Sheehan, no good. Azon Young bobbles the rebound, able to bring it back in, though, after touching the right hand. Young moves in, got everybody around him. Travel called on Azon. And a 14-point lead remains for Haddon Township, 29-15. Peter Black over to Eamon Sheehan. All 5 starters on the floor for Haddon Township. Audubon, 4 of their 5 starters on the floor. Salerno in place of Bittner. An underhand feed. Chester gets the ball swiped out from underneath him. As now here comes Moore. Salerno guarding him closely. Back to the basket. Here comes a 3. Right wing 3. Sean Crawford, his first points of the night, comes on a triple, and it's 32-15 Haddon Township. Eric Young, right side. No basket there. Haddon Township again working quickly as Sheehan is somehow able to save it. And after the pass floats in, now we've got another chance from the opposite corner. It's going to roll up off the metal bar, and it's out of bounds. 5:37 left in the third, and Haddon Township, they are looking quite good to start this matchup. They looked very good in the first half. I would say they're a little bit more evenly matched in the second half, but again, even though they might be evenly matched, Audubon's still down by double digits. They kind of have to come up with an aggregate here as Young able to save it, but it's going to go right back to Haddon Township. Young was unable to defend the basket in time, and the basket falls for Crawford.
Haddon Township's off-ball movement is absolutely amazing. They're setting off-ball screens. being able to find open mans, and they're just able to just pass it around, find an open shot. They've been doing so well in that area.
Salerno with another 3, and I hate to tell you, Thomas, but it seems like they are going with the exact same strategy from the first half as they leave another man open for a corner 3. Doesn't go. Back to Eric Young. They're going to continue to move quickly. Underhand feed. Ball got popped out. It'll be Audubon ball. Looks like it got touched by either Sheehan or Moore.
This front court in Sheehan and Black is absolutely amazing. That was just a quick, easy one. I don't know if you saw that one, Dan.
That was.
But, again, I think this backcourt in Sheehan and Black, they could score, but also their defensive capabilities just absolutely amazing. They are shutting down Audubon on the defensive end, but they're able to replicate it on the offensive end as well.
There's a nice basket there by Keating. He's got 10 points. First Hawk to 10. Haddon Township did have a transfer go to Audubon. KJ Rollins, who is a sophomore. He played in the JV game. He got some varsity action versus Camden Charter. As what a move! Peter Black to Nate Keating. And the Hawks are on fire. 38-17 halfway through the third quarter. Patty McNamara, he's got his Patty Knack. It's 38-17. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the John F. Kling Gymnasium as Haddon Township leads Audubon by 21 points. 38-17 here midway through quarter number 3. Audubon will inbound. It's Heller, Eric and Azon Young, Noah Salerno, and Connor Chester on the floor for the Green Wave. As Young, guarded by Moore, misdirects with the left hand, shoots, one-handed floater, didn't go, and they're going to say that Crawford, check that, Keating stepped out of bounds. Audubon 1-1 on the year, a dominant 53-15 win over Camden Charter to open up the year. They had one of the earliest opening days of the year on December the 8th and then didn't play again for 8 days. They play Lindenwold on Tuesday the 23rd, and then we'll be back in action for the holiday tournament on the 28th. We will not have the first round of play. We will only have the consolation for boys and girls and the finals for boys and girls. The 4 teams participating in the boys side are Audubon, Morristown Friends. I got to check who's in that one. But the girls side will be Audubon, Deptford, Pensgrove, and Vineland. And the boys side is Audubon, Morristown Friends, Gloucester Catholic, and Hamilton. Eric Young couldn't get that basket to go. It's Heller to Chester. Spinning, firing, too long. Eric Young still can't get that rebound as Black comes up with it at the end of the day. 40-17. Back out, corner. Crawford, no good. Heller can't get that one. Back out to Eric Young, guarded by Black. Azon Young, catch and shoot. Oh, air ball. And the Haddon Township student section letting them hear it. That's a rare air ball for Azon Young. I mean, I've watched a lot of him back from when I was in high school as an Audubon alum. And listen to this crowd. We were just talking about KJ Rollins dressing in the other team's uniform. He was a Haddon Township Hawk last year, so he goes from a Hawk to a Green Wave in the sophomore season with 2:30 left in the third. So Rollins checking in for the first time as that top of the key 3 is no good. But I'll tell you, this is a good resume builder for Haddon Township. They lost to Audubon 2 or 3 times last year, and they've got a tough road ahead. They play Mainland on the 20th. No matter who you are, a Cape Atlantic team is going to be tough. Mainland last year, in the first year under Dan Feld, they did finish 5-21, but that's going to be a part of the Jimmy V Classic at Cherokee. They then play Gloucester on the 22nd. Our next matchup with Haddon Township is January the 5th versus Paulsboro. Feeding it out. Couldn't get it there. Keating missed a shot. 2 minutes left to play in the third. Here comes Young. Up the middle. Heller. Back to Young. Azon. Right side. Fouled on his way up. Fouled by Moore. But a very light fouling third quarter. Haddon Township and Audubon only combining for 3 fouls here in the first 6 minutes of the third. Here's Azon Young at the line. First one good. Nate Keating leads the scoring for Haddon Township with 10, but I would say Peter Black, if he continues up this pace, he's going to be the player of the game for his assisting ability. He also has 2 rebounds as well. 8 points, 2 boards, and 7 assists. Young was able to make 1 of 2. He's got 5 points. Eric Young leads Audubon scoring with 7. Heller is Audubon's only starter not to score in this contest. Haddon Township taking it slow. I would imagine the entire fourth quarter is going to be a lesson in clock management with no shot clock in the state of New Jersey. As here comes Peter Black, the left-hander, faces his bench with a 3 in front of his mouth. 11 points, and Azon Young returns the favor. Peter Black, man, he is somebody who can walk the walk and talk the talk. I mean, there's a lot of players who do a lot of talking, but Peter Black is one of those guys that combines his style, his gritty style of play, with a style that's successful enough to where, yeah, he can deserve to chit-chat a little bit. As now Crawford gets blocked. It's out into the corner for Moore, guarded by Azon Young, back out to Keating. It's Sheehan. He finds Crawford. Check that, Keating. Sheehan. Black calls for it. 40 seconds left in the third. Haddon Township leading by 23 points, 43-20. Open lane. Young tries to block. Shot ended up going too long there. Haddon Township meeting Audubon on the other end of the floor as they continue to speed up the pace. Young guarded by Sheehan. Eric Young goes in. Ball gets popped out of his hands, and it goes back to the Hawks. Here come the red and white. Oh, what a miss, but he gets blocked anyway on his way down. Shot up, no good. Here come the Green Wave again. Connor Chester is down. Haddon Township with the advantage. Young trying to draw the charge. Basket's good. Where will this one go? Haddon Township fervently wants an offensive foul. And let's see where this one falls. They will count it. Or no, they will not count the basket. McNamara trying to plead his case. They do not count the basket, but the shot is called on the floor. So no foul shot. Basically, neither team got what they wanted. Let's just say that. You have option A and option B, and then we got the option C that nobody wanted. Azon Young from the left box can't get that one to go, and we end the third quarter with a great run by Haddon Township. Peter Black, the senior guard, an ear-to-ear smile for the senior. He's got 11 points as we go into the final break of the day. It is 43-20. Haddon Township dominating on the road with their crosstown rivals, Audubon. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Audubon, as this broadcast is brought to you by Dog Pro Wrestling. The Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators are New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events throughout the Garden State. For booking and information on future events, visit dawgprowrestling.com. And well, I'll tell you, Thomas, we have a stat on the lower third of the screen talking about the progress for these two teams since 2021, as it's a big difference. Haddon Township 2 years ago, 5-21. They come back to win 21 games this year. And in Audubon, they've stayed somewhat consistent, but this is some of the best seasons that Brian O'Donnell has enjoyed as a head coach. And while this game, presumably a loss, isn't going to be a good resume builder for Audubon, it's going to be a turning point going into the end of December. An Audubon team that won 8 games in 3 seasons just about 8-9 years ago under the Kevin Greway era. And Patty McNamara, with his success with Haddon Township, has gained 100 wins in his first 7 years. As a bit of a miscommunication there, Haddon Township fed the ball out and Peter Black couldn't get it. That pass just went awry. I don't know if it got tipped or if it was just a miscommunication, but Audubon gets the turnover. I guess when you're up by 23, you can afford to make a mistake or two. We've got a shot waved off. Young got fouled on the floor. This will be inbounded by Audubon's number 33, Jed Owens. Whistles here prior to the inbound. Let's see what we got here. Making sure they have it right. So it's Owens, Rollins, the Young brothers, and Chester, the 3-sport athlete on the floor. As this here's a 3, missed it. Owens back out to Chester. He chucks up a 3. It's too long. Eric Young tries to feed the rebound, and Haddon Township takes over. Back and forth with Keating and Sheehan. Black brings this one up the floor. And a whistle here. Peter Black says it's my bad. I guess Haddon Township can afford to make at least a few mistakes. Up by 23 with 7 minutes left. So we mentioned Haddon Township's next games are in the Jimmy V tournament at Cherokee. They play Mainland at 2:30, and then a home game versus Gloucester. Check that, a visiting game at Gloucester City at the Lions Fieldhouse at 7 p.m. on the 22nd. Then they have games on the 29th and 30th, standalone games at Palmyra, and then versus Pennsauken in the Brook Ball Winter Classic in Overbrook, Pine Hill. A minute gone in the fourth quarter. Haddon Township still with all 5 starters on the floor. Don't know if or when they will sub those out. Patty McNamara is a guy that does keep his starters in the game a little bit longer than most coaches in situations like this. Peter Black, burning past Azon Young. We did say that this fourth quarter was going to be a pinnacle in clock management. Haddon Township is in no hurry to get a shot off. They just want to get Audubon as little time as possible to even think about getting a comeback. And with no shot clock, they don't need to. They can just hog the ball and keep on going and going and going until they absolutely find a shot that they need to get off, or they get themselves in defensive pressure. Think about it, in this possession alone, they've taken over a minute off the board without a shot. Sheehan passing. They finally let one fly, and Moore can't get that one to go. Rollins picks up the rebound, and it's back to Eric Young. Again, Rollins, the Haddon Township transfer. Spinning around. Young gets fouled, and he almost ran over the referee. That will send Eric Young to the line.
I think Haddon Township just did. You're kind of looking at this game now, obviously with 6 minutes left, and you look at the first, second, and third quarters. Haddon Township, I feel like, just came into this game with the game plan to just guard the Young brothers as much as possible, especially in the paint. I'm guessing they watched the game, they saw some film, and they saw them two drive in the paint as much as possible. And all you had to do was put 3 defenders in there and just try to stop them, and that's exactly what they've been doing. And they haven't been fouling that much inside. And again, I think this is a great just game plan defensively, but then on the offensive end, they've just been capitalizing off of Audubon's mistakes. This is a flawless game, I feel like. I think it was just maybe a minute or two in the last couple of possessions where they made their first mistake of the game.
Yeah, that's why it felt so surprising.
It's just flawless. It's just an amazing game by Haddon Township.
Yeah, this isn't even that bad of a game for Audubon. I mean, they've made several crucial mistakes, but there's only so much you can do when you've got stuff like that. Peter Black, 13 points, who only scored 5 in the season opener versus Haddon Heights, and Azon Young drains the 3. But I'll tell you, I mean, Peter Black, 7 assists, 13 points. I think he's easily going to be the player of the game, and this one goes out. But in Audubon's 49-41 overtime loss to Sterling on Tuesday, Azon Young did what he does best, double-double, 17 points, 10 boards. They have shut down Azon Young. It reminds me of the South Jersey Group 1 semi from last year between Woodbury and Pittman. In that game, Woodbury committed to shutting down the one star in Elijah Crispin. They got it, and they won that game, I believe, by double digits. And then who did they beat? Haddon Township. There are some teams, especially in Group 1 basketball, when you have smaller rosters, less players that you have to fork over in terms of research. There's these guys that if you can shut them down, and if these coaches are smart, they know exactly their weak spots. And Haddon Township, playing Audubon 3 times last year, McNamara is a genius head coach, and they have played a fantastic game tonight. Owens and Chester guarding as Haddon Township turns it over. Azon Young trying to get anything out of that one as Perrone. Young got fouled. Jump ball. Young wanted a foul. McNamara calls a timeout. Haddon Township's only called 2 timeouts today, and with 4:20 left in the fourth quarter, Haddon Township, they lighten it up from 3. 20-point lead, 45-25, halfway through quarter number 4. Taking a look at last year's standings from the Colonial Patriot Division, you can see Audubon won that division. They didn't have the best overall record, but that top 3 was Audubon, Gloucester, and Haddon Township. But what was so interesting to me, if you look at that lower third graphic, look at the top 3 teams compared to the bottom 3. There's 16, 18, and 21 wins, and then Lindenwold, Collingswood, and Gateway don't even have more than 7 wins on either side. I mean, that is just, I've never seen a more clear top echelon and bottom half split in a division before. I mean, they had their top 3, and then there was everybody else. We do see Gloucester, who finished second in that division tomorrow night in a 7 p.m. matchup versus the Pittman Panthers. I'll be on that call with Jay Clark of Rowan University, and our good friend Ben Wilden will be producing that game tomorrow. Then on Saturday, we have BCSL and Colonial Valley crossover between the Allentown Redbirds and the Delran Bears from Delran. A 12:30 tip for that game. Delran will be without their biggest scorer from last year, the guard Jack Jordan. He has a torn ligament in his knee, or rather in his ankle, and has a broken fibula. 3-ball, no good. Young bringing this one up, 3:30 to play in the fourth quarter. Audubon with a loss would fall to 1-2 after beating Camden Charter on opening night. This is really their first true test with 2 Colonial opponents. We mentioned that their next game will be versus Lindenwold on Tuesday the 23rd at Lindenwold. That's a team that Audubon has historically had 0 trouble with over the years. They beat them by 32 points in their last head-to-head. And then they play in that holiday tournament with Audubon. Morristown Friends will be their first round matchup, and then Gloucester Catholic and Hamilton. So Azon Young makes the first foul shot. Only 5 combined fouls in the fourth quarter. Eric Young will sub out. Into the game for Audubon will be number 32, Logan Genovese. And Young makes both. So Azon Young with 10 points. Eric Young presumably out for the rest of the game. He will have 9 as speeding down the floor, Azon Young gets the rebound. It is an 18-point lead with 3:10 to play. Young continuing to heat up here, but can't get that shot to fall. Black has it. Firing out to the left side. Pops out of Moore, out of bounds. McNamara moving down the floor there, as this will be inbounded by Crawford. I'll tell you this, though. You were talking about Haddon Township. You're right. This is a fantastically played game. No other way to describe it. There is just so much energy that Haddon Township has. 2 years removed from a 5-21 season. They have built this core up. They have convinced this core to stay. I mean, I love small town basketball. I love it a lot more than regional basketball or, these big schools that have a lot of transfers where, that roster didn't grow up in that town. Haddon Township, I could probably tell you these guys, they probably grew up in Haddon Township. They probably grew up in the surrounding area. These guys are homegrown. They've played with each other for a long time, even through the youth organizations, and this is what creates good team chemistry. And in Group 1 basketball, it's not just about how high can you fly, how far can you shoot. It's about the little fundamental things, and we're seeing that in full gear for the Haddon Township Hawks this evening.
And honestly, if you're looking at this right now, Haddon Township, and you talk about fundamentals, they have all of it. They set up plays. They have screens. They have the right schemes. They're able to. Their off-ball movement absolutely amazing. You're seeing it kind of right here as they try to waste the clock. They're able to find open players, get open shots, get good shots, and it just seems like a well put together team. And honestly, they look like a well put together squad as well. And like you said, they've been playing. They've known each other probably their whole life, and it's a lot of chemistry on this team. And honestly, they look really, really good, and especially to win. Almost by double digits against a good Audubon squad. This is a statement win after losing that first game of the season, and they just look really, really good. And it's just a bounce-back game by them to start off this season as well.
Audubon, who beat Haddon Township in their last matchup 49-35 on the road. Haddon Township won the holiday tournament versus Audubon on the 28th of December, 51-42. And Haddon Township bringing in a whole bunch of subs here, as Moore is out, Keating is out, Sheehan is out, and now on the floor will be number 40, Charles Blank, number 20, Ryan Gallagher, number 11, Chase Perrone, who has 5 points, and number 4, Thomas Sheehan. Unconfirmed on any relation, but I would imagine so. Black moves out to Blank. So we have Black and Blank on the same floor. We've got a minute 10 in the fourth. Black gets fouled on his way up. And while it won't count the same as it did in the first quarter, Peter Black gets a chance to extend his scoring lead here. He's got 15. Peter Black, last season for Haddon Township, as we said, he only scored 5 in the season opener. Last year, 156 points, only averaged 5.2 points per game, 54 assists as he is able to complete the three-point play. 16 points for the senior, as Owens will bring this one up the floor. But his season high last year was only 13 in a win over Triton on December the 21st. And in fact, he only had 2 double-digit games, one versus Triton and one versus Sterling. So he has really been, let's just say, let loose by Coach McNamara with the opening up of this front court, as Fran Boland is on the floor. Haddon Township taking their time. They probably don't even have to get a shot off here, although Audubon is guarding them. This is more or less a JV game at this point. A lot of these guys were on the floor for the JV game earlier today. He might have stepped over the line. Black was able to get in there. Chris Alvin is on the floor for Audubon. He's in the near corner. Alvin over on the left wing. Back out to Genovis at the top of the key. With 10 seconds, Genovese up and in. And Haddon Township will go on for a Colonial Conference win, their first in the division. And Haddon Township, the Group 1 runner-ups from last year, they storm into Audubon and get a convincing win, 48-29, a 19-point win over the Audubon Green Wave. As Thomas, this was a fantastic matchup at the beginning, but Haddon Township made themselves known early, and they leave this visiting gym with a win.
And it started off at the beginning of the game. The back-to-back threes by Black kind of set the tone for what Haddon Township wanted to do in this game, and it just carried on from then, and they just kind of took it and ran with it. You had a couple of spurts where Audubon maybe was potentially trying to get back in this game, but then Haddon Township just took it, and then they said, you know what? No, we're going to keep this lead. And that's exactly what they did. Just great ball movement. And I said a flawless game, and I say it is a flawless game, especially against this good Audubon squad. This was all absolutely amazing by Haddon Township. And like I said, good bounce-back game from the first game of the season by them, and now they have their eyes set on the rest of the season. But this is just a great win to bounce back from.
Yeah, Haddon Township played their best tonight. They played 110%. Peter Black, easily going to be the player of the game. He's going to be somebody that is going to be really fun to watch. I think he's like 5'8", 5'7", something like that. He is not your typical basketball player. If you ran into him on the street and said, what sport do you play? I wouldn't have guessed basketball. But this kid is an amazing hooper. He doesn't have the build, but he certainly fools a lot of people. 16 points, 4 triples for Peter Black, not to mention 8 assists for the senior. The kid's just an incredible guy to watch, and he's going to be somebody that Haddon Township can rely on. Because remember, their 2 big grads from last year were Jaden Halterwanger and Caden McGovern. 2 big backcourt, I keep saying the wrong thing. 2 big front court guys, 2 big forwards. Haddon Township does not have the same height that Audubon has. Audubon outmatched them just in height. Mike Bittner and Connor Chester. I would have liked to see those guys more for Audubon, but at the end of the day, we can't talk about hypotheticals. We can't talk about what could have been. We just can talk about what was. Audubon really, I think that they chucked up too many threes. They needed to go inside more, but I stressed that at the half, and it didn't seem like anything changed in the second half. I didn't see the urgency from Audubon, and I think that this is going to be chalked up as a early regular season kind of, we made some mistakes. We definitely didn't play our best game, but I think that Audubon's going to come back, and I think that they're going to have a good contest versus Lindenwold on Tuesday night.
They have a great squad. They're able to bounce back. Look, Haddon Township did the same thing. They lost, and now they bounced back after and got a great win here tonight. But again, it's one game. You gotta look at the next game. Now you gotta look ahead. You can't just take this game and kind of just say, yeah, we got to push this in the back. You just got to get rid of this one and look on to the next one, and that's exactly what to do if you're Audubon. But you have a good squad. You have a good team. You know you're able to score, but just this time Haddon Township just got the upper edge. They played a flawless game. But for Audubon, you still have high hopes for this season, and you still have a great squad, like I said. Just go into the next game with high hopes.
That'll be all for us tonight on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. As from our entire crew, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, Carson Rosso, and Fisher Gianotti. My producer, Javier Harris. My color commentator, Thomas Gaffney Jr. from Montclair State. I'm Dan Wilkins. We will see you tomorrow night for another crossover in the Colonial and Tri-County between the Gloucester Lions and the Pittman Panthers. Final score, Haddon Township 48, Audubon 29. Have a good one.